And we are live once again on the Spoiler Room. I am your host, Mark the Movie Man, and tonight we had a younger crew in the room as we talk about the best and worst of 2014 so far. There are still 3 months left to the film season, but summer season's pretty much over. Your blockbusters have come and gone, and now you're going into Oscar season. So I figured we'd weigh in a little bit and give just best and worst films that we saw during 2014. Now tonight in the room we've got William Holt back. How you doing, William?
I'm doing pretty good.
Great to have you back in the spoiler room. And Mr. Tiger Power himself, Tony Estrada, has joined us this evening. How are you, Tony?
I am doing freaking great. Yeah.
Awesome. And then we have, to the spoiler room, we have Tevya, who's listened and watched many of our episodes, and we've got him tonight to help weigh in as well on what one of his best and worst films were for 2014. So we're going to get things started right off the bat. We're not going to do any headlines or anything in news because, you know what, there's just, you want to see that, go to WeLiveFilm.com and check it out there. We're going to dive right into a nice little plug there, huh? Yeah? We're going to dive right into the day's episode. And let's start first with Mr. Tony Estrada. What was one of your favorite best films of 2014?
Well, from what I see in my list, one of mine I want to mention is Chef.
Chef.
It's the movie. It's the movie written and directed by Jon Favreau, and it stars Jon Favreau as well as other talents like Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr. I just really love the movie. It's one of my favorites of this year.
Awesome. That's the one about he's a chef. He was a chef that's unemployed that starts his own sandwich.
Yeah. Without going into too much details, he's a chef. He works at Dustin Hoffman's restaurant because he's the owner of the whole restaurant.
Oh,
and
sure.
then without spoiling anything, there's a certain event that happened that got him unemployed from working there.
Okay.
And so when he's kind of feeling down about the whole thing, and also a way to spend more time with his son because he's been ignoring his son whenever he would work, they decide to just bond together by starting this food truck business, and John Leguizamo would tag along with them to do this food truck business.
Interesting. Awesome. Yeah, that's a good choice right there. I like that choice. And William, what about you? What would you say one of your favorite of 2014 was?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think that goes for just about everybody here.
Ooga chaka, ooga.
And what was it about Guardians that you really enjoyed?
The raccoon.
The
Rocket Raccoon.
It was all about Rocket Raccoon, right?
Yes.
Now, did it surprise you on how good it actually was?
Yes. It surely did, because I'm not really into the sci-fi and the superheroes and the comic series type movies, but that one got me.
Awesome. And I think that was just about everyone's favorite this summer, and kind of a surprise hit for the season. I know it surprised me. I was hoping they would do it really well, and they did. They did it perfectly. I think that's on everybody's favorite list. Would you guys all agree that Guardians?
Agreed.
It's one of those.
Honestly, as much as I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy, my favorite of the summer has to go to X-Men: Days of Future Past. One of my favorites of the summer. One of my favorites of this year. So in terms of the summer, I gotta give it to X-Men.
Okay, well we're gonna talk. We're gonna have words about that in a minute, Tony. We're gonna first get Tevya. Tevya, for not just summer, but for the year so far, what would be one of your favorite films of the year so far?
For the year? A tough one. For the year, actually, I don't know yet. What I just said was Welcome on Tombstones. But that time for that year, I saw definitely say. Probably my favorites are Captain America: Winter Soldier, X-Men: Days of Future Past, Godzilla, the remake, nice. What?
Oh wait, we only need one. We only need one, Tevye.
Oh no, it's just one, man. Trust me, I have a list too, but I just one.
But there's a lot of good films out, which is kind of why I wanted to do this. But you mentioned some really good ones there, Tevye.
And Boyhood. I think
And
all
what?
the bands sound like
Boyhood.
probably Boyhood. Well,
Boyhood.
more like all the favorites. Yeah.
Nice. The film that was shot.
Boyhood, I think, was a very interesting experience. Okay, the film was given for 12 years. Thank you. And it's actually very interesting. Was it one of my favorites? Well, yes and no. It's complicated.
Well, it was an adventurous film that they were actually going to commit to 12 years of life filming scenes for it. So yeah, Boyhood definitely was an interesting film, but you mentioned a number of great ones, which I think were on everybody's list here. Now, Tony mentioned Days of Future Past. Now, for me, one of them of the year so far was Guardians of the Galaxy, like everyone else. And actually, I saw one that I really enjoyed just recently this past week, and that was actually Walk Among Tombstone.
I love that movie. I saw it in theaters too. It was awesome.
And a lot of people are hating on that film. Not sure why. Because I like it because it's an old school noir PI type of film that I think some people either didn't get or they didn't give enough promotion for it, and that's why it wasn't such a big hit.
Or maybe they just thought it was going to be like a full-blown action movie, like Taken.
Yeah, like non-stop.
See, and I'm thinking that's what it is. I think they were expecting more non-stop, more of a Taken type of deal, and it really isn't. It's just it's a well-paced, but it's an evenly paced noir film. So you've just got him pounding the pavement a lot and talking to a lot of people. And with it set in 1990, you don't have today's technology. You know, he can't just hop on a computer and call up your local, info bank. He does run across a kid. He does run across a kid who does know how to use computers, but we're talking computers in 1999, which I remember, by the way. Which really weren't really great. So I think Walk Among the Tombstones, outside of Guardians of the Galaxy, was one of my favorite for 2014, just because it was like an old school film rather than a newer modern thriller. So,
yep.
But Days of Future Past, I enjoyed it, but I don't know if it was one of my favorites of the year, in all honesty. It was really well done, and I gave it a high rating because it was a really well put together film. But I don't know, it felt like there could have been done just a little bit differently. For me, the ending, okay, and we're going to spoil some films here, and you guys can weigh in. And Tony, I'm not picking on you. I just say that the ending, where he picks up an entire stadium.
Magneto.
Magneto picks up an entire stadium and drops it around the White House. Well, that is a really good barrier to keep people out.
Oh, badass.
Yeah.
Isn't that a little over gratuitous special effect?
But I mean, it's Magneto, man. You have to let Magneto do his stuff.
Yeah, he's a badass. He's metal. Of course he can do that.
We know he's badass, but I guess for me that was just a little bit much to pick up the entire stadium,
Oh, and a Rocket Raccoon with the gun is not a bit too much.
Well, but that's a space opera type of thing out in the middle of nowhere,
I could get what you mean. Personally, if I can explain, for me, it's my favorite of the summer because I felt like it's right next to Dawn. I thought it had like the most emotion. I thought the storyline was really interesting, and I thought the action scenes when it was in the film, because the film doesn't really have that many action scenes, but when it is there, I was really invested in it. I loved how it was paced. I loved where we were going with Professor Xavier with James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender, their little chemistry. I loved how they just focused on all these characters, and the ending was definitely one of the most unexpected endings I've seen this year. Even to this day, I'm still mind blown by the ending. Like that, like when I came out of theater, I was just all like,
Same here.
like
Same here.
I could not control myself after I got out of the movie. Yes, as much as I had as much fun I had with Guardians of the Galaxy, I had a couple of problems with that movie. But with X-Men: Days of Future Past, that movie literally is considered perfect to me. Like I have no flaws with that movie. I have no nitpicks with that movie. Everything was what I wanted in the X-Men movie. And not only is it one of my favorites of the year, not only is it possibly my favorite of the summer, but it is my favorite X-Men movie of all time.
Same here.
Wow.
Same here. Because
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on it.
Oh
at
no,
all.
I know.
Like I said, I gave it a really, I gave it a really high rating, and I did enjoy the Quicksilver character quite a bit, and
Quicksilver,
really
yeah,
went with the
and he stole the show too.
yeah, Quicksilver
he
is
did.
awesome. Like, this
You know,
Quicksilver is
and,
better than the comic Quicksilver. The comic Quicksilver and Ultimate and 616 are complete dicks in both the comics and the TV shows. Well, in Ultimate, oh god, it gets much worse than Ultimate with Jekyll, with Ultimate Scarlet, Ultimate Quicksilver.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is incest in that relationship in Ultimate.
Well,
I hate Jekyll.
hopefully they won't have that in the next X-Men, though it will be
They
interesting
won't.
to see how the Avengers 2 handles the Quicksilver character,
And Scarlet
since we
Witch.
basically have the same character in both films, but portrayed by different actors in different ways. So I'm
Poor
guessing
Aaron Taylor Johnson. He has
Yeah,
to worry
I know.
about he has to worry about a competition now. He's probably like, okay, I gotta be as good as that Quicksilver from X-Men. Okay, I can do this. I can.
Well, talking about the same character, it's one that's even X-Men who's a mutant. Actually, that's confusing one thing. I'm thinking, aren't they both same characters? That one's a mutant.
Yeah, they can't call them mutants, so they can't call them mutants in Avengers because Fox owns the name mutants. So Quicksilver, they're modified humans or something along that line. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
it'll-
confusing.
no, I can see where that's really where you like it a lot. I mean, I really enjoyed the storyline with X-Men: Days of Future Past. I had fun with Guardians of the Galaxy, but X-Men: Days of Future Past was meant to be more serious than Guardians. Guardians was just straight up, space opera fun.
Yeah,
And,
for X-Men, it felt like they were focusing more on the characters and the storyline
story.
rather than the overall action.
Yeah, which is
Yep.
a good thing.
Yeah, and I will say it's probably one of my favorite superhero films. Is X-Men: Days of Future Past? I thought it was really well done. Though I did like First Class as well.
Yeah,
I
First
thought
Class.
they
Yeah,
handled it well.
First Class is good
You
too.
know,
I do have a whooping with that in this room. It's in my
it
room.
really kind of helped us try to forget X-Men 3.
Then, it's like, Retcon X3.
I'm not gonna lie, it's not a great movie, but you know, I could get entertained watching X-Men 3. It has flaws, but I could sit down, kind of laugh at some of the cheesy moments. So.
It's campy. X-Men 3 is
No,
definitely
yeah.
cheesy,
I'm
campy.
a juggernaut, bitch.
So let's get to the next roll. We'll get to the next round of favorites here. William, what's another favorite of yours? Since everybody has a long list here.
You know, I honestly can't think of one. I only have one on my mind.
Oh, nothing wrong with that. There were a lot of movies.
I'm sorry.
No, not at all. Nothing to be sorry about. Tony, what about you, sir? What would you say another one on your long list there is? Besides ones we've mentioned.
All right. A lot of the movies on my list are ones you guys mentioned, but one movie I do have to really give a shout out to is the Grand Budapest Hotel. The new film by Wes Anderson, Ralph Fiennes. It has a huge cast, and I love the film so much. It's one of Wes Anderson's best films, in my opinion. And I still have more to see. Like I've only seen like 4 of his films, but as far as the ones I've seen so far, this is one of my favorites from him. I love the characters. I love the overall story. It was very funny. I would even go out of my way and say it's probably one of the funniest movies I've seen this year. It was original. It was creative, and I just loved how quirky and just very creative and original it was. So that's one of my favorites.
Wes Anderson films tend to be that. There's people who love them and people who hate them. I don't know many who are in between.
Yeah.
For me, I go by film to film with Wes Anderson. I enjoy them because they are quirky. They're different. They're not exactly done like other mainstream films. So the fact that he can get films like this out to a wide audience is impressive. But yeah, Grand Budapest Hotel. I didn't review it, but that is one of the better films. I think one of his better films as well. But
Yeah.
Fiennes really helps with that, though. You could tell he really gets the character with that.
It was really nice to see Ralph Fiennes in a role like that.
Oh yeah, you don't see him play much stuff like that, so to get him in a role like that is really fun to see. I always like when you get an actor in a role that you don't normally see him in.
Not only that, but it kind of surprised me how violent it was, considering not many Anderson films have like violence in it, but this one was actually pretty violent in my opinion.
It was violent.
Yeah, it was. It got pretty violent for a Wes Anderson film, definitely.
Okay, watch your fingers.
So
Mark,
Yeah.
I just thought of 2 more movies.
Oh, here we go. 2 more movies. Okay, William, what's one of them?
Well, this one, it was originally supposed to come out in 2013. There were trailers for it, but it originally got released 2014, if I'm correct. It's the new Tarzan movie.
Oh. God.
Well, we know how Tevye feels.
Well, we know how Tevye feels about that one. Don't shoot yourself in the head over that one, Tevye. Everybody's got their own taste.
I won't. I didn't see it.
That's that live action one, correct? Or that kind of?
No, this one was 3D
motion
animation.
capture.
Yeah, that's right.
Caption
3D.
motion.
Yeah, motion capture. Yeah.
Motion capture. That's what it was. And what did you like about that one? Because I saw that a few times.
Now, don't get me wrong, I do like the Disney original, but this one I found better because the monkeys, they don't speak English. They actually talk monkey. Tarzan talks monkey, so it kind of keeps in that atmosphere, but the story is way different from the original.
Right.
I think that's bad reviews.
Was it more mature, or was it just a different approach?
It's a whole different approach. It's not like, if you're asking if it's like not for kids, it is for kids, but it's
not Disneyized.
Like Tevian said, it did get a lot of bad reviews, but I enjoyed it.
Well, crazy. Even at the ego of the block, but at the budget of that film.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their own tastes. There's plenty of films I like that everybody hates. So,
That's true.
Tevye, another film that was your favorite of the year?
Okay. Another film my favorite of the year. I have 2 actually. One with Dawn 28th. Since you talk about that,
Sin City?
I did see in 2014, not in the summer, was The Wind Rises. Holy, the Wind Rises. Miyazaki's last film.
The Wind Rises?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's talking about it's Hayao Miyazaki's final film.
Okay.
It's an animated film.
Yep.
I still want to check out that movie before the year ends. I do have to check that movie out.
Yeah, I saw a video actually because that movie, holy shit, that movie was also beautiful. I mean, it made me cry because it's a really sad story. It's taken from World War II, obviously, but here's the thing: it's not from the U.S. side, from Japan side. As you know, history. Yeah, it didn't go with Japan. But it's not from the war side. It's focused more on the characters themselves. And what's on theaters? I was blown away how beautiful it was because we don't see how 2D animated films anymore. It's just sad. I can't enjoy animation. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It is.
It is.
Well, Miyazaki pictures in general are gorgeous films. They're fantastic movies. Definitely different films. It'll be sad to see that he's not making them directly, though they might still be making some in that style. So,
Dude, Ghibli got gone.
We'll have to see how that plays out.
I miss
So that's a
Ghibli.
good one, though. The Wind Rises. That's great. I can't believe I forgot to title that one. That's a good pick. There.
That movie is in my brain. I never got to get that movie.
Awesome. Definitely. Yeah, that one's on my list yet to see, too. So we've covered a couple of good ones, and maybe we'll come back to them a little later, but let's go to the opposite side. And let's talk about bad films of 2014 so far. Now, I have to lead off because I promised honorable son number one of mine. I have two sons, and honorable son number one wanted me to mention that for him, Transformers was the worst film of the entire year that he saw so far. he wanted me to throw his hat into the mix for worst film so far. And considering he's about 14, so he's kind of that target demographic, for him to say that he hated that film, and I had no influence in that whatsoever. We just went to the movie, and I think he said his words were, "Dad, this is the first time I legitimately almost fell asleep while watching this movie." So, and my 12-year-old agreed. In fact, while we were watching Transformers, I heard them sigh at least a couple of times, and my 12-year-old actually blurted out in the theater at one point and went, "Really?" But for me, I would have started off my worst one of the year so far. Still, it started off the year badly. It's January, the dumping ground of movies, and it's going to be The Legend of Hercules. Yes.
Just hearing that title gives me a bad taste.
Legend of Hercules was out the first week, I think, in January, and that still, even with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, even with the Transformers, that film is still my worst pick of the year. And it's funny because I won a contest where I actually have a signed poster from the guy who played Hercules.
Kellen Lutz?
Yeah, it's got Kellen Lutz's signature on it. I won it in a contest. No, I'm still a collector, but yeah, that film for me was just all kinds of, I can't believe they brought it to the wide release, even if it is a January film. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. But
nope, I did not see it.
Mr. Guy who goes to movies all the time, so yeah, I've seen them.
The CGI, Tony will agree with me, CGI was awful. Acting was terrible. The script, I didn't know Hercules had a blazing sword.
He didn't.
I'm calling that Legend of Hercules will win Best Visuals at the Oscars. I'm calling.
If someone nominates that film for Best Visuals, I will personally go to Hollywood and slap the entire Academy. I will visit each home of each Academy member and just slap them. I'm sorry. You guys know I try not to pan movies much, but this one, if I can sit there and go, this is probably one of the worst films I've seen, not only in 2014 but in a while, you know that's a statement because you guys know what type of movies I watch. So there is nothing good about that film that I really enjoyed, except maybe the music. I did enjoy the music to it. It had a nice score, but I'm sorry, folks, Legend of Hercules can really be skipped. That was mine. So, Tevye, let's start with one of your worst films of the year so far.
Okay. What am I with film in
Just one.
2014? Which still picking out to this day. Well, I have 2 word films. And one of them, I know I'm going to get hate for this, but the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
The Amazing
Oh.
Spider-Man.
God! Why? Again,
Tevya, don't kill me, but I own the movie.
I won't.
I actually like the movie, but that's
Okay.
just my opinion.
Let's
That's
hear,
what I mean.
Tevya, what was something you didn't like about the film besides the whole thing?
Well, let's see. Here's the thing. I'm fine with the cast. The cast was fine. The problem was the script. Plot point get injured, they get dropped again. The stupid behind mystery. Well, actually, the whole fires that mystery thing get nowhere. Well, it gets somewhere, but that plot point gets injured and it's dropped. Then Goblin is for in the last minute, which is stupid. Sorry.
You're right there.
Yeah. Sorry.
Got a little too excited there. So
Alright, I'll calm down.
I think we get the impression
I
that
was waiting for it. Goblin was born into last minute. Electro was not that good. Well, James Bond was fine. James Bond, I love Electro. He was awesome. Problem was, they looked and used him a lot. Also, my biggest issue with this film, most of all, it tried to be way too much. Like Spider-Man 3 did. Okay, Spider-Man 3, a lot of you hate that, and I do get the criticism, I do. But the thing, I mean, Spider-Man 3 had a plot and a story. This film had a plot, but then it's trying to climb in, change it. You know, what you say to 6? We need after you say to 6. No, you idiots! Put it on your main film. You don't need to jam into all these subplots. You know, I enjoyed saying recently about that film, and here's the thing. Sony took away some scenes that I can point to this film. If you want to do these scenes, which I have not watched, but I heard, trying to do these scenes, it actually makes sense to the film itself. Which kind of thing I think makes me realize that Sony fucked with the product and just strapped into things that go nowhere. It's sad.
It is.
I love Sony. So my favorite heroes. Sony keeps fucking him up 3 times. First with Sam Raimi, because Sam Raimi, he's gonna do Spider-Man 3, and then Sony fucked everything up with his film. Then the reboot happened, which I know a lot of people like the first film, but the reboot, but I personally did not like it because it just felt unnecessarily pointless. And now this film just pissed me off because they fucked Spidey 3 times. How you fucked it 3 times?
Well, they got it right the first 2 times though. So Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. So.
Yeah, both times Spider-Man, Sam Raimi.
So.
You tell me our heart and soul.
I will agree that Amazing Spider-Man 2, there were problems with it as well. Again, they did do too much with it. It's just, that's what I felt. I mean, Rhino, it felt like a middle film. It fell into middle film syndrome. They're trying to set up all these characters. They didn't necessarily need Harry Osborn in there to do the big thing with Spider-Man, the big tragedy at the end. They could have easily done that with Electro. I liked Electro. I liked Jamie Foxx with Electro. I didn't like how they kind of gave him a comical before he was Electro. The problem I had is
him being a creeper.
Well, not just a creeper, but they played him being too comical. I mean, even down to the music. With the music, you even got the wah 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 type music. I'm not saying it was. I didn't hate it like Tevya did. I didn't. there were great points in it. I do agree they did too much, especially him destroying Times Square.
That's that pretty cool. I
You
think
know,
that's a cool scene.
I don't
Steven
think
Spielberg
they
were idiots.
that falls into the same category as picking up a huge stadium when he destroys Times Square. I mean, I understand Sony owns the screens for the big displays in Times Square, but and the replacement costs had to be horrible. But
Yeah,
Jamie
fine.
Foxx was a great choice for Electro. I like the new spin on Electro. Definitely made
Yeah,
him
Open Electro. They have to buy more Open Comics. You get it. Open Electro is blue.
yeah,
Well,
they made him
Batman.
they made him a believable villain. I think they worked the Harry Osborn in there only solely, just like they put Rhino in there, to set up the Sinister Six when they didn't need to. I mean,
That's Batman Carnage.
I'm hoping Paul Giamatti gets more screen time in the Sinister Six film, because otherwise that's a really waste of talent right there.
Oh, that felt like a bomb.
I liked him as Rhino for the screen time that he had, to be honest. He was cheesy, he was silly, but for what he had, I'm all like, I could laugh at this.
Well, no, and I liked him. Again, I thought he was a good pick as well. It's just the way they wrote his character in, it felt tossed off. Like,
Yeah.
okay, here's Rhino.
Yeah.
Okay, go away now. And the thing is, his characters are so established that you don't necessarily need to do an origin story for each character every time. I think. I could be wrong. I don't know, Tony. Would you say that? Do you really need to do a villain origin story every time? You know.
I don't think so. I would say just give us enough details on the villains, like maybe even do what some movies do, kind of give us a flashback on what made that villain become a villain, and yeah, just that's it. Just show us the villain, have like maybe a couple of flashbacks of what his life was like, and I think that's a better way to present it, honestly.
Well, there's another way actually. There's another way to do it actually, because on Spectacular Spider-Man the anime series, which I do own, that series actually did Spider-Man justice. It actually built the origin story well, and actually some of you tied to Oscorp, but not really. Not all of them tied to Oscorp. No. Venom still comes in space. Not for those Secret Wars things. That's comics. That's the story. But it does still come in space. In the open universe, well, before Jack Roach screwed everything up, in Open Spider-Man, not the TV show, the comics, Venom was created by Peter Parker and Eddie Brock's fathers to create a cure for cancer in the open universe. Unfortunately, that's what happened. It went wrong.
Well, I think they were compensating, because in the first Amazing Spider-Man, I think they shortchanged the villain. They had an interesting villain with the Lizard, and he felt like a side story. He really didn't even feel like a fully realized, villain. He's just like, oh, big Lizard, there you go, Spider-Man, fight him.
And I'm going to turn everything into what it is, because reasons? No. Well, that makes sense. There's actually a more interesting plot with him. If you watch the trailer for the first Amazing Spider-Man and this film, you can see scenes were cut out. Like, for example, the Harry Albert, you got Osborn, that you understand. Why? Is another question of the day. Not in the movie.
Yeah.
So where was that scene? Also,
that's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to ask Tony about. Tony, you've watched the Blu-ray. Do they have the the deleted scenes put back into the film, or are they just extra?
I just own the DVD copy for it.
Oh, you just have the D. Because I heard they were doing a cut. I don't know if it was just the Blu-ray only that they were talking about.
I just know that they have like 13 or 14 deleted scenes from the movie. That's all I heard.
But out in the film itself, I get the feeling no deleted scenes. They're not in the film itself. They're probably still in extras, probably. Between that petition that I signed to get the director's cut was completely pointless. What is that? Don't we even sign that petition? It's not for me. It's for the other people who want to see your scenes.
I mean, I think those scenes, though, from what I hear, those people who've seen the deleted scenes for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 said it does help make it a better film. So I may pick that up just so I could check out the deleted scenes and see what hit the cutting room floor. Because I have a feeling Spider-Man 2 fell victim to the same thing Raimi's Spider-Man 3 did, in that the producers looked at what the director did and go, you know, we need more.
Yep. And Venom. No, I don't want to do Venom. Too bad,
So-
Jim. Too bad. You do what you tell us, or you're fired.
It wasn't horrible, but I think for me they could have trimmed some out and it made a more complete film for me. But that's just my personal taste. So let's see, Tony, did we got to your most hated film yet? I don't think. Well, most hated. No, I shouldn't say most hated. Most disliked. Hate's such a strong word. Most.
I would say in this case, hate for me. Like the film so far, I don't like the most this year so far.
Yeah, like the most so far. What film would you say you've disliked the most so far this year?
Okay. Well, I'm just going to give a couple of quick shout-outs because these films deserve a shout-out for how terrible they are, in my opinion. Sabotage. I want to sabotage from how shitty it is. I couldn't stand watching that piece of crap. Trust me, by the end of the film, I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching? that movie drove me nuts. I'm not even kidding you. It's basically how Tevye felt about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. How The Amazing Spider-Man 2 drove Tevye is how Sabotage literally drove me. I could not stand watching that movie.
Okay.
Arnold was good, but other than that, just fuck that movie.
Okay.
And then, of course, Legend of Hercules, what you already went in details with that. Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. High House 2. Brick Mansions. Don't Kill Me, Mark. I know you enjoy this movie. The Purge Anarchy. I just personally didn't like that movie.
Yeah.
But ironically, the movie I managed to actually dislike or hate, for that matter, more than The Legend of Hercules.
Drum roll.
It's actually the recent one, The November Man, with Pierce Brosnan.
Ooh.
So
Nice.
far, in my review, I gave it a 0.5 out of 4 stars.
You gave it 0.5? Wow.
I don't go that low. When I watch a bad movie, I try to stay at least at a 1. Like, at least a 1 star. But with The November Man, as hard as I tried to go that 1, it was impossible for me. I thought the writing was bad. I thought the storyline wasn't going anywhere. It actually took maybe like an hour for the freaking plot to get started and go somewhere. And by the time it starts, it's all like, I don't care. All the characters could die at the end of the film, and I wouldn't care at all. And like the closest to a positive, and it's just me being generous as a critic, but the only real close positive I could give the film is that the actors tried. Pierce Brosnan tried. Everyone else in that movie tried. So the acting per se isn't terrible. It was fine, but it just didn't really add anything to the movie to me. Not only that, but it's the most boring movie I've seen in a long time because, like what your honorable son said, Mark, that's how I felt with The November Man. I tried to stay awake during the movie, and I kept falling asleep. Like I'm on and off, and I'm all like, come on, Tony, you have to stay awake. You have to stay awake. It was hard to stay awake through it, and that's why I could not stand it. It was horrible, but it was really boring. I don't think I felt that bored since Killing Them Softly with Brad Pitt.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are my feelings on that, you guys.
Nice. Great ones, Tony. It's a great case there for not going to see November Man.
That's a bummer because I want to see that film.
It's the perfect if you're having a horrible time sleeping, like you just can't sleep at all, pull at that movie. I promise you, within the first 10 minutes, you'll be knocked out.
Nice.
Good idea.
Wow, that's impressive. Oh, Tony, I do want to add that for Spider-Man 2, I did give it a fairly high rating, though, even though I did have problems with it. So,
Right.
but that's, rating and what you actually like can fall into two different categories.
Yeah.
But
And I don't think the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is perfect either,
yeah,
but I do think it
Yeah.
was good at least. I do think the original Amazing Spider-Man is the better film, but I mean, for what the sequel did, I thought it was good overall. I did like more, and even with its negatives, I was able to like more in the film than what I disliked in the film.
sure.
So it was good at least to me. It
The
was.
sad thing, when any Marvel actor was good. Spidey, like he was funny. Like I'm fine with the cast. The problem was with the film, the execution.
Yeah, it was just the story. Sure. And that was what and that was a problem with a lot of people had with the story. So, William, how about you, sir? 2014 so far, your film that you liked the least?
Well, I've already done 2 reviews on it. Leprechaun Origins.
That came out.
I knew you were gonna. Yeah, it's out, coming out on disc, I think, in October, but it's been out. Yeah, screeners and such. And what was it about Leprechaun Origins that you didn't like? Everything?
Let's see. Well, they did a good job by putting it in Ireland. The only thing they messed up was the actors, the storyline, the leprechaun looking like something between the Descent creatures and Pumpkinhead clashed together.
Oh,
It does not talk, it does not laugh, it does not dress up, and good. That movie is just so bad. Even the death scenes couldn't save it. And the ending,
Wow.
and the fact that the leprechaun is afraid of light.
Wait, what?
It's afraid of light. It is afraid of light. It's afraid of flares. It's afraid of flashlights. What kind of a leprechaun is afraid of that?
It's afraid of light.
I have not seen the movie,
And-
that sounds
and
like one of the most
you know-
ridiculous things ever.
You know what, Mark? The one thing that made me mad, other than the way the leprechaun looked, is each time they had it on camera, they had this blur effect, so only you could see like his teeth or his eyes or maybe part of his arm. That was it. You never really saw his full form at all.
That's
That's
And
not a good description.
And the last thing I have to say is the time length. The time length was 70 minutes, and the rest of it was just credits rolling out in little tiny fade-in, fade-outs and little scenes. That's it.
That's good.
they stretched out the credits so they could get that feature-length designation.
Yes. Like, that's not big enough. We need credits.
Yeah,
I've seen reviews of the actual guy who played as the leprechaun, the Hornswoggle. The thing about him is he stated he's never seen any of the Leprechaun movies and never wants to because he doesn't want to take anything from that character. And that they might be making a sequel, and if they do, oh no.
Quick question. Aren't all the Leprechaun films all bad? I think.
No, they're
bad in a good way.
They're bad in good ways, especially the first.
Leprechaun Origins.
The Leprechaun films are some of those. That's one of those series where it's kind of so bad it's good. Where after a while you watch it for the character, the Leprechaun, and nothing else. Much like a lot of people feel towards the Nightmare on Elm Street series, where after a while you're watching it just for Freddy, and not really caring about anybody else.
To be fair, they did make it seem a little scary, but they didn't use any CGI, they used a little bit of CGI, but not like a whole bunch, which made it fair. But
Child's Play did the same thing too. Didn't they have to make a reboot?
Yeah, they did the reboot with the Child's Play. They did a lot of practical, I think, with the doll, mixed with CGI as well.
The only thing that is related from that movie to the others is just the name. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's always a shame when they do that, especially you do see that in horror films, especially where they give it the name, yet the story itself has absolutely nothing to do with the original. So why even call it that outside of try to get the fans in to watch it?
That's like Halloween 3.
And Hellraiser franchise, I don't know, because some different direct-to-video films in Hellraiser stories. They just filmed that take Hellraiser's name itself and try to put Hellraiser element into the film themselves. Cool. I've not seen other films though. I've seen the original parts of it. Seen the sequel. Sequel way back the second one. Not video, it's on TV. Third film did not see. Fourth film I watched on demand. But what am I watching? This is stupid. Just the video movie I did not see at all because it's bad.
Which series was that, Tevia?
Hellraiser.
Oh, the Hellraiser series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The theatrical version, I mean, the first film I did see, sort of. I didn't see all of it.
Third one had Terry Farrell in it, so let's be fair, okay?
I like the third one. The third one was great.
Third one was interesting, and I even got a kick out of the fourth one, Bloodlines, with in space. I actually got a kick out of that one.
Is that a prequel or is that just a sequel?
No, it was a sequel. It was a sequel because the guy who was in the space station came from the family bloodline of people who created the puzzle box originally, so it was set in the future, if I remember the storyline correctly. It's been a long time.
It was set in the future, set in the past, then set in modern day after the first one went off.
They do flashbacks with it too. You get some more history on the puzzle box and that. I stopped watching it after the. Well, I didn't stop. I mean, I watched the other ones, but I stopped really getting into it after the Bloodlines. The other ones, I'll agree with Tevia. The other ones, the direct-to-video ones, I didn't really care for too much.
Revelation.
I can watch them.
A disaster.
I watch a review of them, and one of the I saw, in Dark Shadow, it was funny. It was so bad.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I just didn't like the direct-to-video ones. Really, I thought they could have ended at 4.
Well, wait. Actually, this should end at 3.
At 3.
Yeah. The first film was good. Second film was a good sequel, in my opinion. Third film, well, it's bad. It had some cool moments. Like one of the lines in that film was it. Well, wait. After one of the lines, the fourth film was it.
Third film was with the building. Third film was with the building, and then the fourth one was in space. For Hellraiser.
No. Third film is actually with a reporter.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth film had space, then building. No, wait. Space first, past second. Then we go to monitor the building. Then we go back to space.
Right.
I think. I don't know.
Yep. It's an interesting series. I'm interested to see. I think they're rebooting it, if I remember correctly, or talking about it.
The Hellraiser series?
Yeah, I thought
Didn't they already do that with Revelations?
Oh, maybe that's what Revelations was supposed to be.
Oh god, that movie was bad too.
Some great picks there for awful ones so far. Does anyone have any other honorable mentions for bad ones this year?
I do.
Tevia, go ahead. What's another bad one for you?
Another bad film was it's like Spidey. Well, Spidey, that franchise is dead at this point. That's in short, but another bad film I just seen in theaters was, oh god, was A Million Ways Down the West. Talk about a huge letdown, but.
A Million Ways to Die. A Million Ways to Die in the Old West.
Yeah, A Million Ways Down the West.
Yeah.
Talk about a huge letdown. Like, what the fuck happened, Sacrifine? You were funny in Ted. Oh no, wait. He went in Ted. He was Sacrifine. Don't star in your own films. That's fine. Star them? No. Which is sad. Because Million had so much potential to be funny. But they fucked it up. So some children were funny, most of the cameos, especially the ending cameo with Django, like Jeremy Fox. That was an awesome cameo. That was funny. Well, everyone else
Yeah, that was a great cameo.
the Lord, Back to the Future. Trailer spoiled it.
Love that one.
Trailers. Yeah, trailer spoiled it. Still funny. Other than that, the entire film was just sad. It was sad.
And I did.
Potential.
I
Actually,
did.
the one good that I liked, after you got Neil Patrick Harris. He was good.
Well, it's Neil Patrick Harris.
He was funny. All kind of guys.
Actually, I actually have to agree with that. He was standout in terms of comedy. Neil Patrick Harris.
He's the one that I liked. Well, we mentioned after he was good in it. Granted, he's been a bad guy that I like, but you didn't get to see him a lot.
Yeah. Well, Neil Patrick Harris, though, I think really can help save any film. Let's face Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle was all right and entertaining. When Neil Patrick Harris shows up, that film just gets so much funnier. And he's only in it for a little bit. And ever since then, I think Neil Patrick Harris really is, he came back on the scene, and yeah, he's just funny in just about any role I've seen him in. So, yeah, I've heard a lot of people dislike a Million Ways from Neil Glass. And William, did you have one more besides Leprechaun Origins that you maybe want to bring up for film that you liked the least this year so far?
No, that one's on my top.
That one's your top. Tony, what about you?
Well, let's see here. I mentioned most of them, my shout-outs, but the ones I didn't get to mention were that animated movie, The Nut Job. For some reason, the title sounds like a pornography. Oh my god. Think about it. A nut job sounds like a pornography.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that was.
Sure, they're gonna make a porno spoof of it.
That was not a good animated film. The Lego Movie was good. Mr. Peabody and Sherman was good. I know this movie doesn't have very good reviews, but I actually did enjoy Rio 2. How to Train Your Dragon 2 was good. I could watch any of those films I saw this year over that piece of living crap. It's obviously a cash grab. It really is.
Oh, it
was bad. The animation was really bad. The storyline was terrible. I didn't laugh once. When you don't even make me laugh once, that's not even a good sign at all. It's the nut job. It could just go hit itself in the nuts.
Nice.
And Brick Mansions with Paul Walker. Paul Walker was good, but I didn't think that was a good movie.
Well, I personally think part of the reason Brick Mansions was released to widescreen, in all honesty, was because of his death.
Yeah.
From what you look at it, it almost is more of a direct-to-video fodder, but yet it made it to wide release, and I think partly was because he was in the news, and so either it was to honor him or it was a cash grab. Who knows?
Cash grab.
It was probably a cash grab because he was the hot topic.
Way to show him respect, Hollywood. Way to show him respect.
Yeah, way to respect Hollywood. Fuck you, Hollywood.
I guess for me, you already mentioned most of them, Tony. Of the marked ones, I was really disappointed with that.
And I see that one.
Because the problem I had with the marked ones is they actually started off decent, but then they felt forced to connect it to the original film, and I thought that was just dumb.
The ending was the worst part.
The ending was horrible. The ending was horrible. Up until like 2/3 of the film, I was actually getting into it, going, "Great, they're doing something different. They've got different people." And then I'm like, "Oh wait, what's this shit? Oh wait."
Hey Mark, when the movie ended, this is literally my reaction, Mark. As soon as the movie cuts to the end credits, this is my reaction on my couch because I saw it from Netflix. This is my reaction as soon as the credits rolled.
A follow-up
I
to
just
that.
sat there for 2 minutes with that reaction.
Well,
Oh my God.
what blows my mind with that franchise too is that soon after, wasn't it soon after or soon before that Paranormal Activity 4 came out? Or
Yeah.
was
I
that
think he's after.
was that before or after? Oh, 4 was
Okay.
before. That's right. 4 was before Marked Ones. That's
No,
right.
no,
That was
no,
in
no, no.
2013. wasn't it?
Wait. Paradigm 3 was before 1. The 2 was
Right.
between 1 and 2. Now the 4 is got a sequel to Paranormal Activity 1.
Four was after 2, and 2 was after 3, which was before 1.
Sounds confusing.
And ironically, this is not even the 5th one. We're still getting a 5th paranormal apparently.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
Paranormal-
why?
Paranormal
It's
Marked Ones.
scary. It's boring. I passed out.
What got me with Marked Ones too is they had an opportunity. They had a pretty much complete minority cast, and they had an opportunity to do something different and feature actors and characters that you normally wouldn't see be stars in a horror film, and they just gave it a bad film. They just did not know how to end that film, and I was like, oh, this is great. They are featuring more diverse cast than what we were getting with the first couple Paranormal Activity films.
Yep.
This is good.
Okay.
And then they just totally tossed it out the window at the end. And yeah, the Marked Ones definitely was a disappointment for me as well.
The only bad thing I can say about that movie, the one thing that made I'm just like, really, was near the very end when they find Jesse and they put him in the car and they're driving, and then like that girl's yelling and then the car just smashes into him.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know something's gonna happen because she's yelling.
Wait, but I thought
And of course, you just gotta love that random shotgun scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was so cool.
Or what did devils do?
He shot himself. Didn't he shoot himself with the shotgun, or was it it? Or
There were like a couple of random girls screaming like,
oh
like,
yeah, that's it.
and then they like, oh my God. What were the
Yeah,
writers
just random
thinking?
people showed up. That's right. Yeah, that movie had
I didn't
potential
see
and it failed
I think I see
miserably.
that film. It just was bad.
I am going to say that one good film for me, another one that stood out besides the Lego Movie, which was mentioned, which
Yeah,
I just loved the Lego Movie. It was a lot better than expected. For me, I enjoyed 300: Rise of the Empire.
Oh, that's a really good one.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because one, it was a rated R action film, yay, and two, it was a great complement to the 300 movie because it takes place during and then after the events of 300, and I liked how they worked that in together, how they kind of interlocked those. And Eva Green as a villain, I could watch her play a villain all day. She does that. So, loved her in Sin City 2 as well, even
Mark,
if the fact
okay, Mark, I was gonna ask you, were you turned on by that sex scene in the movie?
I loved how they handled that because that was the least sensual sex scene ever, but it was fitting. It was fitting for the characters. So I kind of liked that. I liked it because it fit in the characters that they were and the world they were in and what that scene actually was supposed to mean. I loved how that was handled. Actually, it was supposed to be awkward like that, And then Eva Green was in. We get a double dose of Eva Green because she was in Sin City 2, which I really enjoyed. A lot of people did it, and I did, and I enjoyed her role in it, and not just because she didn't have any clothing. I actually did enjoy her acting and her character in that film as well. So, actually, it's kind of interesting. I think we've all agreed that 2014, with all the hype that everybody's giving for 2015, 2014 so far has surprised us with a number of good films that
and bad films.
Because 300 Rise of an Empire as much as I really, really love the original, I'm all like, really? Do we really
Right.
need this? And then I came in because I had my screening. It was like a few days before release. I saw it and I came out going, "Holy crap, that was freaking awesome!"
That was.
So
I know,
I was surprised.
But I mean, I think 2014 has surprised everyone with better films than expected, considering all the big blockbusters coming out in 2015.
Godzilla!
You can't forget Godzilla. Love Godzilla, even if the big green guy was only on screen for 8 minutes. So
Yeah,
there you
that's true.
go.
I still want to own that someday.
I love
So-
that movie too.
Yeah.
Mark, I got one more movie.
Well, I got
What's up, William?
I got
Well,
one
let's,
more too.
Okay, Tevye, well, let's get Williams first.
Yeah.
William,
You go first.
Well,
is this good or bad? Phil?
it's a good one. Well,
Okay.
in my opinion, it's a good one.
Okay.
Well, I like spoof movies a lot. Like I like horror movies, and
Okay.
I saw the Starving Games, which was a rip-off, and that one was just terrible. But this one made up for it, and this is the Hungover Games.
The
Hungover Games?
Game.
What the?
Yes.
What?
It
I saw that on the
spoofs
show.
everything from Ted to the Avengers.
Nice.
What? That's
Oh,
what Stone
man.
Games.
If you said the Haunted House 2, I would have had a heart attack.
Yeah, I would say I'm done. Done.
Hungover Game. Okay, I'll check that out now that you mentioned that it's a decent one, because most of those parody films, I'm sorry, I grew up in the 80s. We had the best parody films out there. And they
Airplane.
just really haven't topped them since. So, but I'll check out Hungover Games there if you say it's
Not
decent.
even close. They don't even try with the freaking spoof movies.
Yeah,
now.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
No. Tevye, you said you had one more film, a good film or
Well-
bad film?
I have two. One bad, one good.
Okay, what's the bad one?
Okay. Let's see. Actually, I don't know about on my list, but one of the Batman I did see this year, and I was hoping it would be good, and I would just say what the fuck was Lucy.
Was what?
Lucy with Scarlett Johansson and Morgan Freeman.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
Lucy? Okay, the concept itself is bullshit. We get that. But I was hoping for a fun action movie. What I get? Not a fun action movie, but just stupid. Like, Scarlett Johansson, my man, she was fine. She was brilliant. But the problem was, you could, like, in the beginning of the she had emotions, which makes sense. But once you get the drugs in her, from the drug dealers, after they killed the boyfriend, well, then the boyfriend was a freak dick, so he deserved it. But that's, there. Once you had to get the drugs in her, we go to Morgan Freeman and Morgan Freeman explain the plot. Okay. Whatever. And so symbolism. Like, and here's my mind. What is it? What's going on? What is symbolism? Okay, let's fast forward that part. Until finally we get to the Scarlett Johansson get the powers, well, sort of. After because of drawing drugs there, they kick their stomach and drugs are spilled. And then it unlocks 20% of the brain, they go 50% of everything. You get the gist. And
Yes, you got very smart.
well, I expect what a good action movie. What I get, just stupid. The action was fine, but then you get stupid. They're stupid. But I'm fine with it. Then the ending happened. Oh God, the ending.
So
You
you're
have no
saying
fucking sense.
you're saying that you found Lucy stupid then?
It was bad. We're just sad.
I'm gonna have to. I'll have to agree to
I can agree with him on that. Like, I enjoyed Lucy, like you, Mark. I did enjoy the movie, but there were a few moments where I'm all like, yeah, really? And then, okay, this, and then, okay, yes. So it's like, I agree, it's a stupid movie, but I do enjoy the movie for what it is.
Well,
Well, my bad. I was disappointed. It was just too let down.
I guess.
Why
I guess-
Batman critics, which at first I would not see, but I just said, and I thought it was gonna be fun, but it wasn't fun. It was just It's stupid. It got fucking horrible.
See,
It didn't make fucking sense in the ending.
I didn't have any expectations going into Lucy, I guess. That's why I may have enjoyed it more
Yeah,
than many.
me too. I was just all like, ugh.
I was like, okay, it's Luc Besson. I like Luc Besson stuff. A lot of people don't.
I do. I like it.
You know,
Oh,
I like
kind of like the stuff.
and
Half-half.
for me, I guess I like Lucy because one, I thought it was an interesting film they were trying to go for that they came out with wide release. And two, I looked beyond what was just presented in the film, and it got me thinking about a lot of different things. So, but that's me. I've watched a lot of different types of films, and I like quirky films. And Lucy's definitely a quirky film, and I can see where a lot of people wouldn't care for it. But for me, I like odd films. I like films that take a chance, try to do something at least a little different, which is what Lucy
Which I'm
was.
fine with. I'm fine with different.
You know, Lucy did try to do something different than most of your mainstream films that have come out recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it went off the rails.
And Scarlett Johansson, I thought was great in the role. I just thought she really did well.
She was fine. She was the one thing I liked in the film.
You know, so
When she knows emotions, it goes downhill.
well, I kind of like that. It made sense that she didn't have emotions. You know, because she had a more understanding of the world. I liked it because it was that quirky kind of odd film, but I can definitely see, it surprised me that this film got the wide release that it did. I could see it being a limited release type film, but the fact that it got wide release surprised me a bit.
Well, yeah, because Scarlett Johansson, she played Black Widow. Maybe the things that Captain America went to Soldier after getting to Marvel, her popularity boost, and it basically made the film. Oh yeah, I own that film.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Tevye. I think they released it widescreen, similar to why they released Brick Mansions. Scarlett Johansson was, you know, on the scene because of Winter Soldier and such.
And and Marvel.
That's how Lucy, I think, got wide release because they thought they could play off that popularity. So you said you had one more good one. What's the one more good one?
Well, I had two good films.
Why don't you give us one of them because we're getting a little late. So
yeah, toward midnight. All right. Another good film I think besides Guardians, because we already mentioned that already, and honorable mention. I have two honorable mentions. Guardians is an honorable mention because that film was fun. Captain Winter Soldier, not honorable mention, and X-Men: Days of Future Past. All three fun. Way around Spidey, but that's a story. One of my favorite films I've seen this year, 2014, is besides Tombstone, with Dr. Dawn the Planet of the Apes.
Dawn Planet of the Apes.
In my opinion, I think it's a sequel, like Rise of the Planet of the Apes, was after a huge surprise. Well, actually, Rise of the Planet of the Apes was a huge surprise after the Tim Burton film, which was horrible. And that ending was so much fucking sense. But then Rise of the Planet of the Apes had a good setup. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes had a good sequel and actually expanded upon the original. Unlike its predecessor, the story actually got more interesting because here's the thing. When you first got trailer for Dawn of the Planet, we thought Human vs. Apes. Like, we thought that, who's in the film? Not Caesar, but the other human guy.
Right.
Like, Gordon.
Right.
Like, dang it. Oh, Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Right. We thought Gary Oldman was the man that guy. Turns out it's not him, but they're like more injured. It's smart. Because, when you think about it, actually, we humans, anyways, we have anything like that. We don't want power. And, well, power corrupts. And unfortunately, and going to trying to bring logic that we should have for science. You get science fucked it over. Thank you, science. Yes. well, and but Snowpiercer had the same thing too. Snowpiercer had that science as well. Science fucked over global warming. But that's the film. That's another story. That film actually is not. I don't want to specialist. But the apes. Caesar, in my opinion, aka Andy Serkis, was awesome. He's an Oscar, damn it. The Academy, is listening. Give him an Oscar. If you don't, I would come down here, I would cut you, stab you. Actually, Cobra,
We
holy shit,
did.
Cobra to Intense and Dark. Like, he's a great villain. Like, this villain got really dark, real fast. And the minute when I thought Caesar died, I thought you were dead because Caesar saw Cobra, but he didn't see that one coming. No one saw it coming. Like, oh my God!
We don't know. They're talking about possibly bringing Koba back. There's been rumblings of it, which it's Hollywood magic. They could figure out a way. We did a whole podcast on Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Fantastic film, another one of my favorites of the year.
That's how I want
Mine
to
too.
join.
It exceeded the original in a number of ways. I agree completely. Andy Serkis needs to get Oscar nomination, not necessarily win, but at least get nominated for his performance as Caesar for the motion capture. Check out our other episode about of the Spoiler Room where we covered the entire Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. We talked about it in length, but I think we all agree that one was another really good surprise for the summer.
Franchise.
The
ending because.
So,
what are you gonna do now? Are they gonna do the war, or are we gonna do?
It'll probably be war. It'll probably be Battle of the Planet of the Apes or War for the Planet of the Apes, is what I suspect is where they're gonna go next with it. No, because now they're gonna fight the other survivors of the planet because the apes have to eventually the apes have to eventually dominate everybody. So, we're gonna wrap it up here. I appreciate you guys weighing in so far on the best of 2014 and the worst. It's been an interesting discussion. I think we all show that what we consider good and bad is definitely subjective, which is what's great about films. Gets people talking, one person's trash is another person's gold, treasure, so to speak. I'm going to ask you. We're going to keep it real short, but I just want to ask you one thing. Just the title. What film are you looking forward to seeing before the end of the year? Just one title. If you had to pick, Tevya, one title. What film are you most looking forward to by the end of 2014? Just the title. What are you looking for?
Who goes first? Should I go first?
You go first.
All right. Let's see. What film coming out this fall? Well, one typical I do want to see this year, 2014. Well, besides Dragon Troll, but that's not the part. That's what I do want to see, but that's not my top of my list. I think that on my top of my list right now, that Dracula is probably Fury, Hunger Games, and Gone Girl. Well, and Touch. Touch, I do want to see it. Definitely interesting. Despite all the negative reviews.
Sure.
I can't fit. Well, there's probably more, but I can't list them all.
Sure, no, that's okay. Well, we only need one. So, Tony.
Well, and with Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler's number I do want to see.
Nightcrawler, definitely, yes. Tony, one title if you had to pick, which one that you're most looking forward to see by the end of the year?
Interstellar.
Interstellar. I completely forgot about that one.
Interstellar. Christopher Nolan.
I did top 5 anticipated on my channel if you guys want to see that.
Check that out. Yep, we'll get your
and The Hobbit.
channel in a minute.
The Hobbit too.
On The Hobbit, yeah. And William, what about you? If there's one film that you could that you most looking forward to seeing before the end of the year?
VHS Viral.
There you go.
That's a sequel?
Definitely looking forward to that horror film as well. I was surprised by VHS 2. Again, I didn't quite care for the wraparound story in VHS 2, but I did enjoy the stories they had in between the wraparound. I thought it was really well done, better than the first one, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to VHS Viral as well. For me, it's a hard choice. There's a number of them out there. Interstellar, I'm definitely think
Yeah.
I'm gonna look
Good for
forward
knowing
to.
that the more
The
good friends.
VHS Viral. Oh, ABC's of Death 2 looks really interesting for me.
Wait, sequel? That's happening?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing
Like,
an
Left, I can understand. Left 4's coming out. Or
Yeah.
direct DVD. Because that, I go Left. Well, Left 1, I like. That's the right by quarantine. The quarantine super remake. Damn, that's American. Why
Ari-
would you say that? Left 2, I
Ari-
love. Left 2 with a holy shit that film goes though. You got the SWAT team. Left 3, I did not see. It's sad.
Rec 3, I enjoyed Rec 3. A lot of people didn't. I enjoyed it for what it was as a
I still have to
companion.
see that one.
What about
But I definitely enjoyed Rec 2 a lot. And Rec 1, I enjoyed those more than Quarantine and Quarantine 2. Those can go away. I am looking forward to Quarantine 4 as well. So a lot of great
stuff. No, not Quarantine. Left 4. Quarantine.
I mean, REC4. Looking forward to that. So, some great picks, guys. Let's wrap it up here. Tony, why don't we start with you first? Where can they find you when you're not talking here?
You could check me out at youtube.com/22TigerDude, Twitter at TigerDude22, Facebook 22TigerDude, give it a like, and Instagram at 22TigerDude. And another film I love is Begin Again. So if you guys haven't seen that, check it out.
Awesome. Tevya, do you have a channel that you want to plug? Go ahead.
Yeah. You can find me at the Tevya Smoker at youtube.com. And you can subscribe to my channel and watch my reviews or my rants. Also, you go to my Facebook page if you want to, or follow me. Well, not on Twitter, but not on Twitter. Try Twitter once, then you go to that backfired. But you can do follow me on Facebook or subscribe to my channel.
Okay.
If you want to. Also, if you go to Snowpiercer, you have to go on my channel. You have to Snowpiercer. That's another film that I mentioned.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And William, what about you, sir?
Facebook and YouTube,
There you
and
go.
sometimes Twitter.
Uh-huh. And we've got the links for those pages. You can go to Special Mark Productions and check it out. Definitely, you can find my stuff there at Special Mark Productions, my links. I'm on Facebook. We've got the Spoiler Room podcast Facebook page you can go to. You can also catch it on specialmarkproduction.com/the Spoiler Room. And we are on iTunes and Twitcher. Twitcher. iTunes and Stitcher Radio. You can find our wonderful podcast here, and you can find my reviews on WeLiveFilm.com and my own channel on YouTube, which is youtube.com/Mark. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on talking about these films, and I think we still got an interesting 3 months left. Thank you, Tony. Interesting 3 months left in films, and it'll be interesting to see how this year ends. And then we've got the big year of 2015 with so many films coming out. I'm going to have to get a mortgage on my house to pay for all my admission fees. So everyone, have a good night. And that's the end of the Spoiler Room. And remember, with the Spoiler Room, some people, the conversation may be fresh, but the films are definitely spoiled. Wow, I screwed that up. Let's call it a night, guys.
All right. Bye.